each of those here today, as well as every individual who will be impacted by United Way here in Hopkins County. We thank you for the lives you've created. Thank you for every volunteer of United Way and for every volunteer of each organization who receives funds through the generous hearts of those here in this room. Please bless this food and our time here today. In your son's name we pray. Amen. Amen. I'd like to now go ahead and recognize the giving individuals who serve on the Hopkins County United Way Board. When your name is called, you will please wave to everyone in the room so we can write here. Askins, Larry Krausen, Deborah Evans, Marquita Fisher, Mike Horn, Chelsea Mays, Sherry McGraw, Jessica McInnes, KK McKenzie.
I'm sorry. Are you okay?
Christy Landers Mosley, Bill Owens, Lindsay Palmer, Dan Tran, Hillary Young, and I'm honored to get to serve as this year's president. The reason that we are here today is to honor each of you. When your business is called, would you please raise your hand so we can acknowledge you? Krista Smother Francis. GSC Enterprises. Sulphur Springs ISD. Flowserve. City National Bank. Carol Vernon Bank Forward Fund. Old Cat. Alliance Bank. J. Hyde Chevrolet. City of Sulphur Springs. UPS. Encore. Sultan Manufacturing. Ocean Spray. And Hopkins County Hospital District EMS Communications. I'd also like to go ahead and call your attention to the back of this piece of paper that's at your place setting, and it lists all individuals and businesses who gave $500 or more during this previous campaign. Lives are being changed because of each of you. It is now my great privilege to introduce two amazing people who have stepped up and said yes to serving as our new co-chairs. While I've gotten to be around both of them in so many capacities, their caring hearts and strong pull to do good remains constant. Our new co-chairs, who I know you'll also be very excited to support, are Jessica McInnes and KK McKenzie.
Because we want to answer the question, is this an organization that I feel good about giving to? Is this an organization that we can trust? And for people like you who donate to United Way, it's so important that we highly vet these organizations. So I just want to acknowledge that committee now. It consisted of David Burns, Larry Krausen, Emily Glass, Mike Jumper, myself, KK McKenzie, and Lindsay Palmer. So thank you. So last week we had a volunteer luncheon where we thanked the volunteers that are going to help us but it's very applicable to this room as well. So there's these organizations that we're donating to, and they're really on the front line. They are day in, day out, the ones helping the significant needs that we have in our community. And as volunteers, as donors, we may not always feel like we are on the front lines. But I'm here to tell you that you are a lifeline. I wish that we didn't have the needs that we have in our community, but we do. Next year, there are going to be hundreds of women, and they are going to need significant help because they've experienced domestic abuse, sexual abuse, trauma. And you are their lifeline. And there's going to be children in our community that are going to find themselves displaced because they've experienced negligence, abuse by their own family. You're the lifeline. And there are so many people that have food insecurities that just need help with basic needs. They are not living the same experience. They're not having the same experience that you and I are having. You are their lifeline. And so, yes, we can write our checks and we can go about our day, but I just really want to take some time and acknowledge just the weight of what you do and who you are, how generous you are. I am in a room full of generous people, full of generous businesses. I affirm you in that. I affirm your business. It does not go unnoticed. You are leaders in this community mainly because you take care of your own. You care about this community, you love this community, and it matters. And while you may never see the faces of the people that are recipients of your generosity, you are their lifeline. So thank you.
So like Jessica said, the word over and over again, community. Each year, United Way has a program theme, and it was a no-brainer to both of us that the theme this year was community, together as one. One of the, probably the most special thing about living in Sulphur Springs is that we have this unique place where our community truly does come together. This summer, all three of my daughters were at work camp. We're at local churches and youth, and they paint houses. And I was on the phone with a friend in Lubbock, and she said, I just can't believe your town does that. She said, time and time again, you tell me these things about your community, and it is not happening in other places. Or it may be that it's not that everybody gets to be involved. And she said, I just can't believe it. And it's oftentimes that we take for granted where we live and the close-knit community that we have. So we titled it Community Together as One because we feel that it is very unique to live in this town that's so close-knit, and that there are people like you and your businesses that come together to support the needs that we have. Today, our guest speaker is a dear friend of mine. My husband likes to call him the CEO of Sulphur Springs, which is the Chief Encouragement Officer. If you know Israel, or if you have been in his presence, you know that he is passionate about encouraging others, uplifting them. He is a light to this community, and he embodies the word community. Israel is also on the receiving end of seeing our community pull together in a time of need for him, and it's just incredible, y'all. We feel so honored to be a part of this community and to have Israel here speaking today. So I introduce Israel Lewis.
Ready to go. Game time, I've got like 10 minutes now. Let's take 1 minute real quick. I don't need this. I love giving honor where honor is due. All right? I believe to live here is to love here. And I want to know the 3 people that have been loving Hopkins County the longest. All right? So big favor, if everyone will stand right where you are, you don't have to say a word, just stand right where you are. And if you have been living in Hopkins County for more than 5 years, you can stay standing. You just moved, go ahead and take a seat. Thank you very much. Okay, person. All right. 10 years or longer. 10 years or longer. Loving Hopkins County. 15 years. 20 years. If you went off to 44 decades. All right, we're starting to 45. 45 years. Love the great city of Sulphur. 5 decades. 50 years. 55. 56. 57. 58. 59. Are we down to 3? How many years?
62.
62. How many years?
55.
Sit down, Bill.
Hey guys, do me a big favor. Please stay with me and thank you guys. Give me just a second. I'm going to take my boys and I'm just going to standing ovation. You know? Well, I mean, here's what we know. It happened as soon as you walked in. Well, who doesn't love balloons? You know what? Balloons lighten up the place. Balloons let you know something fun is about to happen. What we know about leadership is that leaders don't criticize. Leaders celebrate. Would you agree? I mean, we just celebrate some incredible veterans of our town and our county. Part of celebration is what we're doing here today, and that's anticipation. Judge Newsom and a few other guys here in town will tell you that when we get ready to preach a wedding, there's such a joy with the premarital counseling. And friends, I have never had a couple come to me and they said, well, Liz, we just kind of throw up a prayer. We're not sure if we really want to do this. You know, when I ask them, how long do you think you guys can stay together? They say, this is it. We are in this. I mean, they are committed. Can you imagine if Bubba came up and said, hey, can you tie the knot? And, you know, I'm hoping it'll work for a couple of years. We got a problem, okay? Well, I tell you what, I want that type of excitement and anticipation with United Way. That she is the one, he is the one, this is it, and we are going all the way. Real quick, before I land the plane, I want to take you back to 2017. You may not be a sports guy, you may not be a basketball guy. But if you know anything about basketball, you know the rivalry with Duke and North Carolina. It's a Saturday afternoon, I've got my popcorn on the couch, I'm getting ready, and all of a sudden the commentator comes in and says, we want to break away from this game, and we want to let you know about Alabama and Minnesota. I turned to my wife and I said, I do not know this one. Alabama, now, no respect to Alabama and Minnesota, but I was watching the rivalry of all college basketball. Then all of a sudden I realized every person that was watching basketball that day wanted to watch this game. And here's the reason why. Bama had showed up that day with 13 boys. And the sportscaster says, guys, we just need to let you know that 8 Bama players have been kicked out of the game. Bama versus Minnesota has just become very interesting because Bama has no subs. Now, there's a little rule that, you know, if you get a little elbow and a little excitement, if a fight breaks out on the floor, you can't walk out onto the floor with the boys. If you do, you're immediately kicked out. Well, the referees go over, they look at the little TV screen, and they realize that every single guy on the bench had just taken a couple of steps out to see what was going on. And so the ref comes back and says, the entire bench is kicked out of the game. So, you know, it's kind of getting a little dicey, but then 2 minutes later, we're down to 5. A guy fouls out. Now it's 4 versus 5, plus Minnesota's an entire bench. This is when the broadcasting networks started coming in because they said, 4 versus 5, no subs, this could be interesting. The odds were against it. Would you agree? But there was a miracle in the mismatch. And that's why we're here today. Because everybody loves the underdog, it's why I'm speaking here today. But guys, there's a reason why you're going to Google this afternoon, 2017 on YouTube. They were down to 4 because the guy fouls out. Then another guy sprains his ankle. He has to get helped off the floor, it's 3 versus 5. This is at the end of the third quarter. They're down by 15 points. You can't see it, I apologize, but with 1 minute and 56 seconds left, the score is 78-83. 3 guys are 2 buckets away. Because when they come together, incredible things happen. Isn't that a fun story? Well, we're talking about the odds were against him. The odds were against him. And him being me, I made it known if I would be here today. But I just want to share real quickly a couple of things I learned when you find out you may be dying. And we all know we're going to die someday, but I thought I might be dying the next day. Imagine, if you will, the surgeon comes in. I wish I had a background music. The surgeon comes in and he tells my wife, Miss Lewis, I'm really not sure. We can't guarantee that this one's going to make it through the next surgery. It sounds a little scary, doesn't it? If I'm really honest with you guys, I was never really scared. But I was extremely sad. Oh man, I was sad. I had dreams just like you, growing old with my best friend. I wanted to watch my 2 boys marry and grow old. And some of you guys are fixers, you want to do something. I wanted to fix it. I wanted to do something. And so I started working on my bucket list. You remember that movie 2008 with Morgan Freeman and James? The couple of things they wanted to do before they... And it was to travel to crazy exotic islands and go about some incredible adventures. Friends, I will tell you, on that day, in that hour, my bucket list changed. And I no longer had any great desire to travel to some great unknown. I didn't have any desire to have a fun adventure. I wanted to take care of 2 people. 2 groups of people. There were 2 people on my bucket list. My bride and my kids. And so I didn't want it to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen. But in case I did not make it, I asked my wife to come beside me. And at 51 years of age, we planned my funeral. And I got the pastor and the worship pastor, and we lined out all that. I just didn't want that to be on her plate. And then I asked her to leave, and I asked my boys to come in. And I had a son on either side, and I held their hands. And I said, boys, if something happens in the morning, I need to know you're going to take care of your mom. Because she was on the bucket list. And we got through that, we cried, and then they left. And then I asked 2 of my fraternity brothers to walk in. We'd grown up together, and we'd raised a little bit more than Cain out of ACU. And I had one on either side of me. I said, guys, we've been through a lot together. But this is it. And if I don't make it tomorrow, I need you to know. I need to know you're going to take care of my boys. They cried, and we cried, and we got through it. Obviously, I got through it. I wouldn't be here today. Like a little bit. But I will tell you that the greatest gift, I believe the greatest gift that the good Lord gave to me was not being able to live. Yes, I'm so grateful, so grateful to get to live a few more Hopkins. The greatest gift I was given after I had a hand on the doorknob of heaven, because yes, I saw the light. If you want to talk more about that, I'd love to show you. Heaven is for me, not just a book or a movie. It's worth it. But the greatest gift I was given, Hopkins County, was to be given a second chance of living life the right way. Here's what I mean. My bucket list, if I hadn't made it, was going to be codependent on other people. I was going to lean on my boys to take care of my wife, and I had to lean on my college guys to take care of my kids. And now I get to. And so now every day, I wake up and I realize somebody didn't wake up today. And so for the next 24 hours, I know tomorrow's not promised. And I've got 24 hours to say thank you, God, for a second chance of being the best spouse and the best parent that I possibly can be because that's not other people's job. It's my job while I am still here. I mean, before the bucket list, yes, I've been doing this and going there. And I'll tell you, when a surgeon comes in, you no longer care about how many likes you have on some post on social media that day. I did not care about what my bank account was back in Mike's office. You don't care about anything other than people. The quality of your life will always be determined by the quality of your relationships. Would you agree? Well, I'll lay in the plane with this. You guys that know me know I'm kind of honest and transparent. I don't hope, I know this is awkward, apologies in advance, I don't hope our story has encouraged you. I don't hope that my wife and the hero that she was for my boys, I don't hope that this inspires you to go home and have that hard conversation with your spouse or your kids. I don't. And here's the reason why. Two boys, Caleb and Carter, they're grown and gone. But every holiday, they're going to come back. I pray, it's not been a long time. And just like your kids and grandkids, they come back. And I want them to come back to the absolute greatest place on earth. I know I'm a little biased, but it's my belief that it's our job to continue cultivating and growing the greatest county that some people have been loving for 5 and 6 decades. It's incredible. And so I don't hope that you do what you need to do. And frankly, I hope you'll expect the same of me. You should hold me accountable. We're in this together. Because here's what I believe, and I'll land the plane with this. Everything you do affects everyone you know. Think about it. Let that sink in. The actions you take, the moves you make, they are creating the greatest county that we are so blessed to get to live in. That your children and my children and grandchildren are going to come back and live in. As Jessica so beautifully shared, there are people that are so dependent upon the generosity of your employees. It got very real for me. Sometimes I say, hey Lord, I'm listening. The day after Sweet Cake calls and hey, can you come speak? I'm always overjoyed and excited. But the next day, I have a client. They're walking out and then she turns back around. Single mom, mid-20s. It's right, I hate to ask this, but would anybody here be able to help with some tennis shoes from little Junior? And I looked down and his toes were coming through. I started crying to him. I was like, we're going to buy 50 tennis shoes, okay? But it's every single day, you know that. And it's much more fun and incredible when you get a face to the story. And I love that these ladies will continue to share the stories. But guys, let's do more than celebrate. Let's be the celebration. Let's do more than just anticipate something fun that's going to happen. Let's be the celebration that this county was built on and will continue to grow on for years to come. 60 decades. Thank you for loving these people. And guys, thank you for loving my family. And thank you for loving the recipients of United Way. Will you help me, and one more time, thanking Emily and Jessica and KK for what they will do in United Way this year. Let's give them a
We want to thank Alliance Bank for sponsoring our lunch today. Thank you, Alliance Bank. Thank you to Corner Grub for catering. To Laxon's team, they provided all of our campaign materials. Thank you. To Texas A&M AgriLife Extension staff for allowing us to meet in their space, and to the venue at 219, thank you for hosting us. And then lastly, I wanted to thank Susan Burney. She is very undercover, but she's like actually driving this whole ship. She tells KK, show up here, say this. So she's made this so easy for us, so thank you. And just thank you for all of you here and your support.